Okay, so now we're going to talk about your calves. So we're getting into how you're going to actually address plantar fasciitis and what are some important things. One is to address tight calves, which most people with plantar fasciitis have. As we look at what the arch should look like, and you've seen this picture before, and I'm not condoning by any means that you wear flip-flops, but what you can see in this particular picture of the woman wearing flip-flops is that she has a decent arch. There's no support for that arch with the flip-flops, which is why we don't want people to wear them. But here we can see when she's basically around 90 degrees here, in almost a neutral position, she has a decent arch. That's usually not as big of a problem with people who have plantar fasciitis as it is when the person steps down and they have tight calves. Like in this picture, you can see they're fully weight bearing over the foot, but you can see that the arch is falling in significantly, like there's no space down there. So that's showing that these calves are so tight that the foot has to adjust and fall in. So if we see that again, when they step, you can see that foot falling in, flattening out, and causing that extra stress over the plantar fascia, and then the tug-of-war begins with the heel. So in this picture, Kelsey's basically showing the same thing. As she kind of moves her leg over the top of her foot, you can see that she's showing how the arch can flatten when you have tight calves and you can't move that leg further forward without letting the arch drop. Now that's excessive that she's showing there, that the bones in the foot are actually falling in, and we do see this considerably with people who have significantly tight calves. So we definitely want to address that issue and get that arch in a more neutral position when the leg is straight up above it. So we're going to show you a good calf stretch. Now you may have been doing a calf stretch and this might be a bit different, so hang in there and make sure that you watch this next calf stretch. Okay, we're going to start with Kelsey in a barefoot position, and this is going to look similar to stretches you may have done in the past, but there's a few very particular points that are very important for you to do in order to do this stretch correctly. So we're going to have you up against the wall like Kelsey is currently, and then we're going to have her moving. I'm going to show you what this looks like from the back. See how her toes are pointed out to the side? That's not what we want. We want those toes to be pointed inward, and she's going to be adjusting this here to be pointed either exactly forward or even slightly in to make sure that the right angle, the best angle, is on the calf so you can get the full calf and the Achilles when you do the stretch. So turning those toes even slightly inward. And then the next really important part is to give yourself an arch. You can see her foot's really flat here, and we want her to roll her knee outward to give herself an arch. So you can kind of see up here, watch up in this area. I'm going to show you what that looks like. She rolled her knee in, now she's rolling her knee out. The most important thing too is the heel is down, the toes are down, and she's giving herself that arch. Now you should feel that stretch more evenly throughout the calf by doing that, and I'm just going to come around here to try to show that position of the knee when she's rolling that knee out to the side to give herself an arch. So there's the more flat foot and there's the arch. So you really want to make sure that those toes are pointed forward like we talked about, and then that knee rolls out to the side so we can get a really good calf stretch. Next I'm going to show what Kelsey looks like in her shoes when she's doing the calf stretch. So you get a good idea of what this should look like when you're doing this with both feet in shoes. And again, just making sure that you're getting the best position with those toes pointed not out to the side like that, but again, adjusting them so they're pointed straight forward. Once those toes are pointed forward or slightly inward like those are, you can see that we're getting more of a stretch through the calf. And as she's leaning forward, we're turning the knee out so that we get that calf, or that we get that arch in the middle there. It's really important that the arch doesn't fall in like that. What you want to have is the arch coming up and out, so we get a better stretch of the calf. And then what's going to happen is she's going to be leaning in towards the wall. What she's doing incorrectly here is sticking her bottom out. What we want instead is for that bottom to come in, and there we go. A nice good stretch, leaning those hips inward, getting a decent stretch of that Achilles going forward just like that. And you just want to hold that for about 10 or 15 seconds. Again, making sure that that knee is turned out so that we get an arch, and we've got a really nice stretch here with the hips pointed inward, just like that. And there's your calf stretch. Next, we're going to show you how to do this on a slant board. And with this part of the video, we're going to be showing you how to do stretch on a slant board. These slant boards are fantastic to do calf stretches. You can get them on Amazon for anywhere between $40 and $60. And I'll give you a link below these videos for you to order that if you like. But they're fantastic and they feel great on the feet. And you can adjust the height of them as well too. So we're going to show 1 foot at a time. You're going to keep the same kind of idea in regards to the slant board as the calf stretch. And as Kelsey stands on there, she put her foot more in the middle of the board there. And then standing on 1 foot, she's going to keep that knee out like we had before, give herself a nice arch in the foot, and maintain. See how she's pulling up that arch by rotating her knee out to the side? And she's leaning up against the wall just like that. So she's getting a good stretch, and again, the main thing here is that her hips are going to be going into the wall and not the butt sticking back out. Now to do them on both feet, basically you're standing on the slant board with both feet, and the main thing here on your forearms, that again your bottom isn't poking out, that the bottom is pushing in, so your hips are moving towards the wall, so you're getting a really good stretch of both Achilles and calves. And again, is you don't want the bottom to come out, you want it to push in towards the wall. And again, same type of thing as you're keeping your feet forward and straight ahead, and then giving yourself an arch without letting those, and like she's doing there, giving herself a nice arch. You get a great stretch of your calves. Fantastic exercise and piece of equipment to have if you want to get a really good stretch of your calves on a daily basis. And that's everything about the calf stretch.